Hi everyone, I hope you're well. Before you ask the question, these are my chickens. For those of you who know me, I rescue battery chickens, so great eggs by the way if you ever need any. So I want to talk about absence patterns and the fixation that some organisations have with patterns and jumping into disciplinary processes. Just to give you an example, I once supported a manager who had an employee where he'd looked back, he'd been off sick in, I think it was late September, and he'd looked back and he'd had the same period off for, I think it was 3 or maybe even 4 years. So the view from the organisation and from the manager was great, bang to rights, pattern every September, get him into a disciplinary investigation. When I got involved, I asked the manager the question, what's the reason for the absences? And he said, he looked at the sick notes and said, bad leg, flu, cold, whatever it may be. So I asked him again, what's the reason, the real reason for the absences? And what I was trying to get to on that was, how have the return to work discussions gone? You'll remember a previous post I did about don't do return to work interviews. It's not an interview. So how did that quality discussion go? Then established, well, they've not really happened because the manager's been too busy, etc. So what we did was, I helped the manager to talk to the employee. And we talked to the employee about this regular September thing. And at first the employee was saying, yeah, I had a bad leg and a cold and a flu or whatever. But then they started to get quite emotional, not in an angry way, but in a very upset way. And this guy broke down crying. And what materialised was that, unfortunately, he'd had 2 very, very traumatic bereavements. So I think one was his father and one was his sister. Not in the same year, but it was around the same time of year. So as September came, he was particularly emotional. And he may have had a cold, he may have had flu because he was feeling run down, but at the heart of it was he just felt too upset to come into work, so he rang in sick. That conversation then resulted in the manager caring about him and saying, well, I don't want you to feel like that, so what do we do when next September comes? How can I help? Do you need to take holidays? Do you need to maybe we identify work that you can actually do from home for a couple of days when it's really bad and work from home? Do you need to take unpaid time off? Do you need to do anything else? Can we help? And the relief on that employee's face that actually we were going to correct his behaviour by him not being off every September, because that's not something that we could tolerate from an absence perspective, but we were going to help him to either be at work or to not be at work, but not be branded as an employee that's got really bad absence, really poor attendance, and we have a misconduct issue. So just the power of talking and understanding the employee resolved that issue and saved hours and hours of disciplinary investigation, stress on the employee, etc., etc., everything that formal disciplinary brings, but got the right result. So I would urge people to think about that before they jump into theoretical absence patterns and then into disciplinary investigations. Please always talk to your employees and understand them. It gets you so far. So I hope that helps. As ever, if you need any help with absence or anything else to do with people in the workplace, then give us a call. In the meantime, have a great day and I'll see you soon. Cheers.